Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk for Wednesday, the 14th of October. Starting off with Capex, where you can see that there's finally been a breakout through the 5p level. I suppose in a way we probably already broke out a few days ago with a line broken there around 4.5p, but today we've had the proper move. End of day close through 5p should be enough to take the shares on their next journey up towards, well, there's two lines of resistance there, the July one and the July one of this year and the July one of last year, both heading up towards 8p, and that could be seen hopefully as soon as the end of next month, if we're really lucky, the end of this month. Only back below 4.5p, and that uptrend line from August really delaying the upside scenario. On to 4D Pharma, which has had a bit of interest after the rug pull that we saw over the last few weeks, or few sessions actually, I suppose, since the beginning of the month. Here it's interesting that we've, I suppose, the bounce came off effectively the old resistance on the way up at around the upper 90s level. I think the low there around 91, the closing high there on the way up around 91 as well, so there was some method in the madness there of the rebound. Probably still chasing an end of day close back above the 50-day moving average at £1.16, which is currently rising, which is a good sign, but really anywhere above the £1 level, and hopefully the shares have found their base and will then try and retrace some of the losses seen so far this month. Favoured area, if we do get some traction from these levels and a quick break back above the 50-day line, would be up towards the upper 130s, which was the neckline support over the course of September before the fall that we had earlier this month. On to a much requested stock for some reason, which is the next situation, Ferro-Alloy Resources. Here, interesting that the shares have found a floor in the sort of 8.5 to 9p area, just around the 50-day moving average as well. That's around just under the 9p zone. A bit of a dance either side of 9p, or so 8.5 to 9.5p over recent sessions, but there is the possibility that we've already broken higher, in the sense that we've broken that line of resistance from September and the 50-day line at just under 9p, and the end of day close through 9p should be enough to at least get us up for a retest of the 200-day moving average at 10.6p. If you're a fan of the stock and want to dream of a bigger picture target, the favoured one at the moment would be a early 2020 resistance line projection, currently heading for 18p. This stage only back below 8p, really hurting the idea of a recovery, especially after that brief bear trap that we had down to 7p at the end of last month. Time frame on the 18p target, potential target, hopefully by, I suppose, going into December at this rate of progression. Onto a stock which I covered a little while back and is doing rather well, perhaps against the odds, but triangle base there was identified, I think, sometime last month. And the good news here is we've got a V-shaped bull flag resting on the 200-day moving average of 2.91p. While we're above the 200-day line, the upgraded target, I think we were looking for sort of 3.5 to 4p before, the upgraded target is the top of the April triangle, currently pointing at 5p, hopefully again by the end of next month. Interpersonal Finance is next, not quite the normal stock that we look at here, but the charting position is looking interesting with the push higher through the 50-day moving average, so an end of day close above 60p in the 50-day line could set the shares on not only for a target towards the 75p zone, which is post-June resistance, but a bigger picture target, maybe a 2 to 3 month target at the top of the rising April trend channel, currently pointing at £1.20. This stage only really back below that the support line of the channel at 50p, really delaying the possibility of a break higher, especially after that late September bear trap below the 50p level. Onto a stock which is much chatted about on Twitter and elsewhere, Mosman Oil And Gas. Here, looking interesting in the sense that still having this sort of churn between 0.15 and 0.2 pence, waiting for an end-of-day close through 0.2 pence, hopefully this time, if we can get that, and especially a decent end-of-day close above the 50-day line at 0.17, then the long-awaited target towards 0.35 in the top of the March trend channel could be on its way. At this stage, only back below the 200-day line in the price channel for 0.14, let's call it, would really delay the upside scenario, or potential upside scenario. Lots of dancing around and volatility with Nostra Terra, and lots of name calling on Twitter as well, I think, with Nostra Terra as well. But the good news is, I suppose, over the last month, really, that the shares have traded either at or above the 50-day moving average at 0.31 pence. That's now rising as well, which should provide further momentum. What the bulls are probably licking their lips at, or would lick their lips at, would be an end-of-day close above the 200-day moving average at 0.43. If we can get an end-of-day or end-of-week close above that for the remainder of the week, then the stock could be on its way. If you're cautious of the shares, which some people may be, judging by Twitter, etc., then an end-of-day close above 0.5 pence and post-June resistance is really the trigger for potential significant upside, and in this case that would be up towards 1.2 pence as a year-end target as a best-case scenario. But for people already in the stock, a break of the 200-day line would be the first trigger for an accelerated move to the upside. Moving on to a stock which I think reported some good news today, Petards. Here we've got the shares gapping through the 20, 30 and 50-day moving averages, which is quite impressive. Looking for an end-of-day close or a weekly close above the 200-day line at 8 pence. If we can get that during the near term, then we should see some decent follow-through. Initial target probably up to the line I'm just drawing at the moment, 11.5, 12 pence. Effectively the top of the trend channel from March, and at this stage only really back below say 7 pence on the 20-day line, really delaying the upside scenario here. So reasonable risk reward for Petards if you can ignore the overall negative flow that we've had. So it would be a bit of a trend change, but it looks as though, again, as is typically the case, there was a bear trap ahead of the latest gap higher, so that does suggest that the final weak hands have been flushed out of that situation. Another potential recovery stock comes in the form of Plexus Holdings. Here we've got a potential broadening triangle setup, gapping through the 20, 30 and 50-day moving averages again, and end-of-day close above the 50-day line could be the start of a move towards 20 pence plus in the top of the April triangle, hopefully by the end of next month. And only really back below 9 pence, recent support, really delaying the upside scenario. But we've got MACD cross, positive cross there, and also bullish divergence, pretty strong bullish divergence with the lower lows that we had initially for October. So it does look as though there is some positive momentum there. No such doubts with the next stock coming in the form of Touchstone Exploration. Here we've had we had the old rising trend channel that I drew last time I talked about the stock. That was promising a target towards £1.25. We nearly reached that today at £1.20, but end of day close above £1.25, and that February resistance line could open up a fresh leg to the upside up to that May resistance line projection, currently pointing at £1.60. So that may be a reasonable target for the end of next month. In terms of the stop loss, I suppose at this stage can't really have it any tighter than £1 to 105, i.e. half the range of today's gap higher for the shares. Just a couple of stocks to go. First is a lap of honour situation for the bulls. Big move up higher for Alien Metals today. Shares in a sort of, we're in a bit of a churn between 0.7 and 0.8 to the start of the month, but broke through quite nicely to start this week and nearly hit the top of that channel, which was the previous target, up to 1.3 pence. Hopefully we'll do that over the next week or so, but that's still the level to look out for while we remain above the previous September intraday resistance at 0.94. So let's see if that particular level can be held. Old resistance becoming new support. Finishing off with a stock I covered quite recently, but it's back in the news today. VR Education, we had the spike up to 22 pence, just about 22 pence, and came back to 16 to test old resistance as new support. Looks like that has been done now, so while we're above 16 pence, still looking for the promised target from the last time we looked at the shares, up to 30 to 32 pence at the top of that March trend channel from earlier in the year. So let's see how long it takes on that. If you're cautious on the stock, maybe wait for an end of day close through 20 pence before assuming 30 pence plus could be on its way. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.